Welcome back to the Integrative Counselor, where we're integrating mind, body, and beyond. I'm your host, Julie, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This podcast is all about blending science, psychology, and holistic practices to help you build a life that feels aligned, intentional, and fulfilling for you. Before we begin, just a gentle reminder, the resources shared in this podcast are for educational and self-help purposes only. They are not a substitute for professional therapy, counseling, or medical advice. Everyone's journey is so unique, so please explore what feels supportive and aligned for you. And if you're experiencing distress, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional in your area. You are not alone and help is available. So before we jump into today's conversation, let's take a moment to arrive, to transition from whatever has been occupying your mind and step into the space fully. So wherever you are, whether you're sitting, walking, driving, or simply pausing in your day, let's see if you can gently shift your awareness from thinking to sensing. No need to change anything, just simply notice. So bring your attention now to one thing you can see around you. Maybe it's the light playing on a surface, the colors around you, the sky beyond your window. Let your eyes rest softly there and simply observe. Now tune into one thing you can hear. Maybe it's the sound of your breath, the soft murmur of life around you, or a rhythm that anchors you in this moment. Let that sound remind you that you are here right now. Now bring your awareness to one thing that you can feel. Perhaps it's the texture of the fabric against your skin, the contact between your body and the seat or the floor, or maybe it's even the subtle air on your face. Sense your body held in this moment. Let this simple act of noticing be a gentle arrival into this space today. Your body knows how to be here. Your breath knows how to guide you. So thank you for taking that moment to just practice a mindful grounding exercise. So last time we uncovered some of the biggest obstacles that often hold us back from our goals. We chatted about outcome fixation, unrealistic expectations, and relying too much on willpower. Today, we're taking it one step further by focusing on the systems that actually help us stay on track. Because here's the truth. Goal setting isn't just about motivation. It's about structure, support, and flexibility. So in today's episode, we're diving into why going at it alone often makes goals harder to sustain and the simple ways that we can build in support. We're going to chat about how juggling too many goals at once actually slows us down and how we can create a routine that works for us, not against us. And finally, we'll chat about why flexibility is the secret to consistency and how to refine your approach as life evolves, which it often does. So by the end of the episode, you'll have a fresh perspective on what actually makes goal setting sustainable. So let's take a moment to settle in, whether you're driving, walking, or just taking a break for yourself. And let's dive into today's conversation. So let's start the conversation off with the power of accountability. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to show up for something when someone else is expecting you? So let's reflect on that for a moment. You're more likely to go to the gym when you've committed to meeting a friend there. You're more likely to stick to your morning walk when your dog is looking up at you, waiting to go outside. And you're more likely to follow through on a project when you've told your boss, a mentor, or even social media followers that you're working on it. That's because as humans, we're wired for connection, and that connection plays a huge role in our ability to follow through on our goals. We often think that achieving goals is all about willpower or personal discipline, But research shows that's not the only part of the picture here. Accountability works because it taps into 3 psychological principles. So let's look at those one by one. The first one is commitment bias. When we say something out loud, we're more likely to follow through because we don't want to contradict ourselves. This is rooted in cognitive consistency. Our brains want our actions to align with our words. The more publicly we commit to a goal, the harder it becomes to back out. The next one is external reinforcement. So when we get encouragement or feedback from others, our motivation increases. Positive reinforcement, whether from an accountability partner, a coach, or a community, creates a sense of momentum. And even small affirmations like a friend checking in or a social media comment celebrating our progress can reinforce our commitment and make the journey feel more meaningful. And the final one is social connection. We're wired for connection, and working towards goals with others makes the process more rewarding. The presence of a supportive network, whether a workout buddy, mastermind group, or mentor, that boosts our sense of belonging and that shared purpose. And research shows that people are more likely to persist in their goals when they feel socially supported, as it transforms progress from a solitary effort into a collective experience. So we chatted previously before about the study by Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University of California, which found that writing down a goal increases the likelihood of its success by 42%. However, those who share their goals with someone else sees those chances rise up to 65%. And when they add regular check-ins on top of that, the success rate soars to over 95%. So why does this work? Well, it works because when we keep our goals to ourselves, it makes it so easy to make excuses. There's no external pressure, there's no one checking in, and there's no sense of responsibility outside of our own motivation, which, well, let's be honest, it isn't always reliable for us. But when we bring someone else into the equation, whether it's a friend, a coach, a mentor, or even a community, our commitment to that goal becomes real. We're not just making promises to ourselves anymore. We're being held accountable by someone who expects us to follow through. And here's the thing, accountability isn't about guilt or shame. It's not about someone nagging you or making you feel bad if you miss a step. Instead, it's about support, encouragement, and having someone to remind you why you started in the first place. But you might be wondering, if accountability is so powerful, why do we struggle so much with it? Well, here are some of the common roadblocks. First is we rely on willpower alone. We assume that we can just push through without external support. Second is we don't want to burden others. We feel like our goals should be a solo mission. Third is we fear judgment. We worry about failing in front of others, so we tend to keep those goals private. And the fourth is we lack structure. So without a system of accountability, it's just so easy to lose momentum. Accountability isn't about pressure, it's about support. It's about creating a system that helps you stay on track while also giving yourself grace when things don't go perfectly. So how can you make accountability work for you? Well, here are some powerful suggestions and ways that you can integrate it into your goal setting process. First way to do that is to find an accountability partner. Choose someone you trust, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a coach, or mentor, and set up regular check-ins. Maybe it's a two-way street where you both support each other's progress, and you can just set up shared calendar events so that you can keep track of this. So, for instance, if your goal is to work out more, partner with a friend who perhaps has a similar goal. Commit to texting each other before and after workouts to stay motivated. Second way is that you can join a supportive community. So when you surround yourself with like-minded people, that can be an absolute game changer. Whether it's an online group, a fitness class, or a mastermind group, being part of a community provides built-in encouragement. Let's say you're starting a creative project, so perhaps you want to look at joining a writing group or your local library, or even an online forum where people can share progress and offer feedback to one another. Another way that you can make accountability work for you is to make your commitment public, if that works for you. For some people, publicly stating a goal adds a level of accountability that makes them more likely to follow through. This could be as simple as sharing your progress with a close friend or posting updates on social media. So that might look like if you're training for a marathon, document your progress on Instagram. Even if no one actively checks in, knowing you put it out there can increase your motivation. Another way to kind of build that accountability and make it work for you is to set up regular check-ins with yourself and your goal, whether it's a weekly progress review, a scheduled call with a mentor, or just simply journaling about your progress. Having structured reflection points keeps you engaged. So that might look like every Sunday night, you take 10 minutes to review your goals and then plan small steps for the week ahead. Last but not least, using an accountability app or tracker can be helpful. If you kind of prefer a more independent approach, apps like Habitica and Stick or Strides can help you track habits while offering built-in accountability features. All right, so just understanding that accountability is a tool, it's not a trap. One of the biggest misconceptions about accountability is that it means you have to be perfect. But the truth is, accountability is there to support you, not to shame you. It's about creating a system, as we've chatted about so many times already, the system that keeps you engaged, motivated, and moving forward, even on the days when things don't go as planned. So start to think about who or what could you bring into your life to make accountability easier for you? Is there a friend, mentor, or community that could help you stay on track with your goals? And how can you build a simple check-in system for yourself? It doesn't have to be formal. Just sending a quick message to someone saying, "Hey, I'm working on this. Can we check in once a week?" can make a huge difference. So challenge for you. Pick one accountability strategy and try it this week, whether it's finding a partner, joining a group, or setting up a weekly check-in for yourself. See how this shifts your motivation. So now that we've talked about accountability, let's explore something just as important: why juggling too many goals all at once can actually slow you down, and how to simplify your focus for better results. Have you ever felt completely overwhelmed by all the things you want to achieve? Often you'll start the year or even just a new week full of motivation. You've set multiple goals, perhaps that's eating healthier, reading more books, meditating daily, or growing your business or career. And at first, this all feels so exciting. You're energized and you're ready to tackle everything. But soon the weight of juggling too many priorities, it starts to take its toll on you. You miss one workout, then another. The book you started is collecting some dust, and your meditation streak is long forgotten. And instead of feeling productive, you start to feel frustrated and stuck. Well, here's the truth. When you try and focus on everything, you end up making progress on nothing. This is a psychological phenomenon called goal competition, which means when you pursue too many goals all at once, they compete for your time, energy, and focus, leading to burnout, inconsistency, and a lack of progress. A study published in the journal by Organizational Behavior and Human Decision Processes found that when people set multiple goals simultaneously, they tend to underperform on all of them, compared to when they focus on just one or two goals. So if you've ever felt like you're spinning your wheels, but you're not actually getting anywhere, you are not alone. The problem isn't your motivation, it's your strategy. There are some reasons why juggling too many goals actually slows you down. The first is cognitive overload. Your brain can only handle so much at once. So when you overload it with too many new habits or changes, you struggle to retain information and stay consistent. Next is decision fatigue. Every goal requires decision making. Should I go to the gym or read? Should I meal prep or meditate? Consistently switching between these goals drains your mental energy. Next is a lack of focus. Imagine trying to run in 5 different directions at once. Instead of getting to your destination faster, you stay stuck in one place. And finally, emotional drain. When you feel like you're failing at multiple things, it lowers your motivation and it increases your stress levels. This makes it more tempting to give up altogether. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is to simplify your focus. So instead of spreading your energy across 5 or 10 different goals, shift your focus to just 1 or 2 priorities at a time. Less is more. Think about it this way. You can either push 5 heavy boulders up a hill at the same time and get nowhere, or focus all your strength on moving one boulder at a time, getting it to the top before starting the next. And here's how you can break free from that goal overwhelm and actually make meaningful progress. First step is to clarify what truly matters to you. So rather than trying to do it all at once, pause and ask yourself, what are 1 or 2 goals right now that feel most meaningful and aligned with where I am and where I want to go? This simple question will help you cut through all that noise and focus your energy to release the distractions that are diluting your progress. Another is to focus on the domino effect approach. So think about it. What is the one goal that, if you achieved, will make everything else easier? So this idea was made popular by Gary Keller in the book The One Thing. And it suggests that some goals act as dominoes. So when you knock them down, they naturally lead to success in other areas. So perhaps focusing on getting better sleep will then improve your energy and your productivity and your mood, making it easier to work out, eat well, and stay motivated. Or perhaps learning to manage your stress may help you develop healthier relationships, which then allows you to focus better at work and prevent overall burnout. So by choosing one high impact goal, you can create a ripple effect in other areas of your life. Another one is to break big goals into small, manageable steps. And we've talked about this a few times before. So instead of setting a huge, overwhelming goal, break them into bite-sized actions that feel achievable for you. So maybe that will look like, instead of putting that pressure and that overwhelming goal of I want to write an entire book this year, perhaps just start by writing 15 minutes every morning and see where that leads you. Or instead of setting a goal of I need to lose 30 pounds in 1 month, perhaps just start by focusing on eating a healthy breakfast every day and moving your body. The smaller the step, the easier it is to start, and starting is half the battle. Another tip is to time block your priorities. So instead of relying on motivation alone, schedule time in for your goals the same way you would for meetings or appointments. So if you want to work out every day, block 30 minutes during the day, whatever time works for you. Set a reminder for it. Put it in your Google Calendar, whatever calendar you use. So what gets scheduled gets done. If you wait for that perfect time, unfortunately, it's probably never going to come. Another one is to build in recovery and reflection. So instead of constantly adding new goals, taking time to check in with yourself. Am I making progress? Do I feel energized or drained right now? What's working? What needs adjusted? Like, reflection helps you prevent burnout, and it helps you stay intentional about your growth. So example, that might look like schedule a Sunday reset where you review your progress, you celebrate your wins for the week, and you adjust your goals for the week ahead. The key to real sustainable progress, my friends, isn't in doing more. It's in doing less better. By focusing on a few high-impact goals, breaking them into small, manageable steps, and simplifying your approach, you'll actually achieve faster, more meaningful results. So remember, focus on 1 to 2 really meaningful goals at a time, instead of trying to do everything at once. Use the domino effect. Prioritize a goal that will make the biggest impact in other areas. Break goals into small, manageable steps to keep that momentum going. Schedule your priorities instead of relying on motivation. Reflect and adjust to prevent burnout and stay on track. So the challenge for you, look at your current list of goals. Are you trying to juggle too many at once? Could you just limit that to 1 or 2 goals that truly matter to you? This week, commit to simplifying. Choose one high-impact goal, break it down, and focus on consistent action over time. So now that we've talked about how to simplify your focus, let's dive into our final piece: why flexibility is the key to consistency, and how to revisit and adjust your goals as life evolves. So adjusting your goals is essential for success. Growth means change, and as you grow, your goals should grow with you. The things that once excited you may no longer feel aligned, and that's okay. You want to adjust your goals to avoid burnout. Sticking to a goal just because you set it can lead to frustration. You're never bound and tied to a goal. Adapting can prevent that burnout, and it can keep you engaged. And adjusting those goals can provide realignment, which can lead to better results. When you revisit and refine your goals, you create a system that actually works for your current lifestyle instead of forcing yourself into something that may be outdated altogether. You're not abandoning yourself. You're not giving up. You're simply realigning with who you are now. Think about your goals like a road trip. Sometimes the route you planned at the start isn't the one that gets you there in the best way. Maybe there's traffic. Maybe you've discovered a new destination that feels more aligned and exciting for you. That doesn't mean that the journey is over. It just means it's time for a little gentle detour. Your goals are never set in stone. They're meant to grow and shift as you do. So if something feels off, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're paying attention. When you pause to reassess, you create space to reconnect with your energy and your intentions. And from there, you get to choose. Do I want to keep going as planned and persist? Or is it time to shift the direction or pace and pivot or pause? So when to know to stay the course and persist? Some simple reflection questions that might kind of help you align with this might look like asking yourself, am I truly done with this goal? Or do I just need a bit of rest, clarity, or maybe a new approach? Does this align with the kind of life I want to create for myself? And have I given myself the right tools, support, or structure to succeed? Am I pushing too hard or too fast in a way that's draining instead of helpful? And maybe if I allowed more grace or flexibility for myself, would I then feel more energized to keep going? So how about when to know to make a change, to pivot or pause? Here are some questions that might help you align with that. So begin by asking yourself, is this goal still aligned with who I am now? Or is it based on an old version of me or someone else's expectations for me? Would letting this go or changing it bring more peace or space in my life right now? Am I holding on out of fear? And what does it mean to stop or slow down? What would it feel like to pause this goal without guilt and come back to it when I'm ready? And finally, am I chasing this goal to prove something or because it actually lights me up? Remember, changing direction doesn't mean giving up. It means you're listening to what you really need, and that is strength. All right, so a final thought. Real success isn't about forcing your way through outdated goals. It's about checking in, adjusting with compassion, and honoring where you are right now. True success isn't about pushing through just for the sake of finishing. You can always shift your course. You can always come back to what matters, and you can always start from where you are. So challenge for you, pick one goal that you've been working on and reflect. Does this still feel true to me? Do I need to shift the pace, the path, or the purpose? And is this a moment to persist or to pivot or pause? Let this be your permission slip to grow with your goals, not against them. When you give yourself room to adapt, you'll create a system that works for you, not against you. So next week, we're going to wrap up the Resolutions That Get Results series with one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. Episode 5 is about emotional barriers and self-sabotage and how to build long-term momentum for our goals. In this final episode, we'll explore the hidden blocks that often get in our way, like fear, doubt, perfectionism, and the sneaky ways that we self-sabotage our own progress. We'll learn how to recognize these emotional barriers, understand where they come from, and most importantly, how to work with them, not against them, so you can build real, lasting momentum with your goals. You won't want to miss this. If you found today's episode helpful, my friends, share it with your friends, family, whoever you might know, or leave a review. It really helps others find this space. Wishing you balance, presence, and progress. See you next time.